After Thomas Markle Jr. this week described Meghan Markle as previously having been a, quote, yacht girl, there have been more revelations going viral from the past. Question of those, Lady C, that they were leaked as part of this iCloud hack.
They tried to hide the files and they failed. They couldn't keep these pictures hidden because there's just too many people involved. And now they don't care about protecting Meghan Markle anymore.
And it has been bad.
She's living the life she probably wanted all along.
Yes.
A life of unparalleled luxury and riches.
If that's the case, all I can say is that Meghan should have realised that it's always better to go forwards than backwards. And brown lipstick is not a good look on a girl.
Damn! She used to charge almost $30,000 per trip, which is why she was making good money. It wasn't on suit.
She is so odious. It's beyond.
You see any of the real Diana in Meghan, did you?
No.
Really?
No. Sorry. We are uncensored, but oh my God, the idea there's any comparison between Diana, who was the biggest star in the world.
I'm just so happy. Isn't it wonderful? Look at me. I've got so much taste and I'm just so fabulous. And everybody's going to do what I do and everybody's going to have fun the way I have fun because I'm just so marvelous. I'm just fabulous. Everybody's going to follow me. I'm just the end in style.
Back in her early days, she was totally reliant on Soho House to pay for her travel, to pay for her accommodation.
And here we have Andrew, with whom looks like Marcus Anderson. This is in 2001 when Meghan Markle would have allegedly been on third year.
Oh, I'm familiar with it, Dan, and I'm sure you are as well. I've been familiar with it for a long time, and in fact, I've seen the tapes.
Once a Soho House basic bitch, always a Soho House basic bitch.
People like Meghan will always stay with a man if there's no better option.
I'm actually genuinely curious. Are there any fans of Meghan Markle in tonight?
No.
Oh, hang on. There is one lone hand has raised
Subversive.
up here. Actually, that is one more than I expected, I have to be honest.
Once you scrape the glitter off Meghan Markle's royal fairy tale, what's left isn't glass slippers or destiny or even some great love story. What's left smells like diesel fuel, champagne foam, billionaire sunscreen, and a paper trail that someone worked very hard to erase.
These pictures that I'm about to show you have been banned from the internet. They were scrubbed, but now they're back. They're finally out.
They called her the Duchess of Compassion, but Lady Colin Campbell just called her something else entirely, the Duchess of Deception. Now let's be precise before the defenders hyperventilate. This isn't a verdict. This isn't a conviction. This is a pattern, and patterns don't scream. They whisper until someone finally listens. Because when people stop swooning and start asking questions, the same details keep surfacing. Pictures of yachts, private jets, billionaire circles, summers that don't show up on resumes, photos that existed and then didn't.
I've got them somewhere. God knows where now. I've got them on some.
So you've seen Nudie Rudy Meghan too?
I've seen more than one thing.
This wasn't a fairy tale stumble into royalty. This looks a lot more like an audition, and not the kind with casting directors and cold reads. The kind where guest lists are handwritten, phones disappear at the door, and access is currency. The kind where proximity is power. The kind where ambition wears a smile and calls it networking. And the reason this keeps boiling back up isn't gossip. It's because every time someone tries to delete the past, it leaks. Screenshots pop up, blurred frames, stories of half-remembered trips, old archives flickering back online like ghosts that refuse to stay buried. You can polish a crown, you can scrub a timeline, but you can't delete memory. And once Lady C said it out loud, the internet did what it always does. It went hunting.
Some of it, there's some of what I've seen, I think I have a room for doubt about. Others, let's resile away from a comment because I couldn't find a room for doubt.
Lady C didn't whisper, she didn't hedge, she didn't get evasive. She delivered it with surgical calm, steady, controlled, deliberate, and then she said it plainly. Tapes that were never meant to see daylight, tapes that didn't disappear by accident, photos tied to a version of Meghan that doesn't fit the empowerment brochures or the carefully lit interview tiers. She said she'd been familiar with this chapter for a long time, long before the hashtags, long before the engagement announcements, long before anyone was pretending this was all destiny. And suddenly, everything that had been dismissed as internet noise snapped into focus. Because the moment Lady Colin spoke, the royal internet lit up like fireworks over Windsor.
And in fact, I've seen the tapes.
Old blog posts resurfaced. Old tapes started circulating again, all allegedly tied to the same pre-royal years that had been aggressively scrubbed clean. And the contradiction was loud. This was the woman sold as humanitarian simplicity, allegedly moving through elite luxury spaces with ease. The woman lecturing on equality, allegedly sipping champagne with the 1%. The woman framed as misunderstood, allegedly understanding exactly how the game worked. One trip in particular hit like a pressure crack. Istanbul, 2015, the opening of Soho House. According to what exploded online, Meghan Markle was flown in, not as a keynote speaker or honored guest, but as an elite party filler, a familiar role in very unfamiliar rooms.
This was taken in 2015 when Meghan Markle was flown to Istanbul for the opening of Soho House to be a party girl.
Within hours, the speculation detonated because this wasn't random travel, this was curated access. And here's the thing that made it sting. It wasn't the yachts, it wasn't the parties, it was the precision. People don't accidentally end up in those circles. They're invited, selected, positioned, which raises the question no one wanted asked. If nothing was wrong, then why did so much of it vanish? This is where the story stops being cute and starts getting uncomfortable. A celebrity tape broker described a call in 2018, a woman claiming to possess a 4-year-old tape. A tape allegedly involving a woman about to marry a prince.
And I want to show you this from a man called Kevin Blatt. Now, he is a celebrity tape broker, Lady C, and this is from a show called Your Mom's House.
Say this, another exclusive on YMH. So exactly a year ago, last week, I was shocked. A woman calls me up and she's like, do you have a secure line for me to talk to you? Right? Like I'm like in the cone of silence or something. Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah. So I get on a WhatsApp call with her and I'm like, what do you have? She says, a guy sent me a tape of this model/actress 4 years ago and she is tossing his salad and it's, you know, oral sex.
Yes, eat the scrum.
And I said, great. How do you know this guy? Well, he's a photographer based in Florida. I was doing some stuff with him. Okay. I said, who is the person we're talking about here? Before I call my lawyer and get anybody involved in this, you have to tell me. So then she says, her name is Meghan, and she's about to marry a prince in England.
No, what?
Yeah, this is true. I'm going to show you the email communications, and you'll see why. The woman in Canada who called me has it.
Say what you want about the claim itself. Believe it or don't. That's not the point. The point is why stories like this keep surfacing and why they never go away. Because every time something bubbles up, it's followed by the same response. Denials, confusion, and outrage. Then some silence, then removal. Posts get deleted. Tags go missing. Images get archived, and accounts get locked. A digital disappearing act so clean it practically announces itself. And if nothing existed, then there would be nothing to erase. That's the part no one can answer. People noticed photos that once circulated freely suddenly became impossible to find. Links broke, pages vanished. Content was flagged, struck, or quietly scrubbed from databases. Not sloppily, professionally.
Question of those, Lady C, that they were leaked as part of this iCloud hack.
The kind of cleanup that suggests influence. And here's where it escalates. This wasn't happening after royal marriage. This wasn't palace power flexing after titles were secured. This was happening before, which raises a much uglier question. Who had that kind of reach before she ever wore a tiara? Because the more people dug, the louder the contradiction became.
In my opinion, in my analysis, and my experience of decades, this kind of analysis, for me, is the real deal.
And I know what you're going to say. Maybe it was just that one trip. No, there were quite a few trips. There's actually quite a lot of pictures about them. There are 2 pictures that leaked.
The brand said empathy. The archive said elite access. The interview said organic success. The timeline said something else entirely. And once the internet smelled suppression, it didn't back off. It doubled down. Now here's the part everyone pretends not to understand on purpose. Yacht culture isn't vacation culture. It's power culture. These aren't casual beach trips with Instagram captions and sunscreen selfies. These are environments where phones disappear, guest lists are curated, and conversations don't repeat outside the deck. Billionaires trade introductions the way normal people trade business cards. These weren't indulgences. They were auditions.
All Meghan's performances, whether on Instagram or on podcasts or anywhere else, it's always to rebut the truth that has leaked out about her and the reality of what she is and what her life is.
Before red carpets, there were decks. Before royal walkabouts, there were sunsets over water, where access mattered more than talent and silence mattered more than charm. And the travel patterns raised eyebrows fast. Dubai, the Hamptons, Europe, New York, repeatedly. One stretch in particular stood out, an entire month in New York.
She was coming to New York all the time. She was in New York when Andrew was in New York for an entire month in September 2013.
And questions followed. Why was a mid-level actress flying business class across continents with ease? Even cast members from her own show reportedly couldn't understand the finances.
Being flown all over the world, the Suits cast members didn't understand where she got the money to fly business class all over the world.
And insiders described something chillingly consistent. She wasn't partying, she was studying, watching who mattered, tracking who held influence, learning which smiles opened doors and which ones didn't. Quiet, calculated, always present, always observing. And then the cleanup. Photos gone, posts erased, friends suddenly private. Not the behavior of someone ashamed, the behavior of someone preserving a narrative.
Yacht Girl. Oh my God. Ghislaine Maxwell spoke. She said so. Virginia Roberts spoke. They both talked about Meghan Markle, but the world chose to ignore it. And even now, with these pictures out in the public domain, the press still refuses to expose Meghan Markle.
This wasn't luck. This wasn't destiny. This was social repositioning with surgical intent. Every invitation served a purpose. Every appearance added a rung to the ladder. And when those two worlds, humanitarian branding and high roller access, finally collided, that's when things started to unravel. Because once the yacht chatter stopped sounding abstract, names started floating into view. And not just any names, the kind that make publicists stop smiling and start dialing lawyers. According to the claims circulating, some of the images placed Meghan in proximity to figures linked to Jeffrey Epstein's orbit.
The reason why these pictures are so problematic for Meghan Markle is because these pictures place her with Jeffrey Epstein. This is Rachel Meghan Markle in 2006 at a Hamptons party where Harvey Weinstein was there. But of course, nobody was mentioning Meghan Markle because she was a nobody.
Not romance, not dates, influence, proximity, overlapping circles that were never supposed to touch a royal narrative. And that's when the story stopped being internet gossip and started feeling radioactive. Because the allegation wasn't that she was special, it was that she was present. And in those circles, presence is the currency. This wasn't about scandal for scandal's sake. This was about how elite networks function. The same faces showing up at the same closed-door gatherings, the same yachts, the same private islands, the same dinners where careers get fast-tracked or buried with a shrug. And suddenly, the silence from the palace stopped feeling dignified. It felt defensive, because once whispers started echoing louder, the atmosphere inside royal corridors reportedly shifted. Not outrage, not disbelief, but in dread. Because the question wasn't whether the rumors were flattering. The question was, how much had already been buried? Senior palace advisors, the private secretaries, communications staff, and royal handlers paid to protect the institution had flagged inconsistencies early. Odd trips, unexplained introductions, timelines that looked curated instead of natural.
No way. Because she also, again, she can't talk to anybody. She can't. It's all so stilted.
And everything has to be perfect.
Yes.
And once the engagement went public, curiosity became forbidden. She wasn't Meghan the actress anymore. She was Meghan the brand, and brands don't get questioned, they get protected. The monarchy, an institution built on optics, allegedly froze, because even a whisper of elite yacht culture clashing with royal symbolism could detonate globally. So instead of confronting it, they defaulted to what they've always done best: silence. But silence isn't neutral. Silence is a choice. And once silence is chosen, it only makes the fallout worse. Lady C didn't coin a phrase. She ended the argument. 3 words landed and everything snapped into place. The Yacht Girl era. No explanation needed, no footnotes, no walkback. And that's why it spread. Not because it was cruel, because it fit. Suddenly, years of unanswered questions had a label. The unexplained flights. The luxury travel that never matched the paychecks. The access that acting alone doesn't buy. People didn't need convincing, they needed vocabulary. This wasn't a fairy tale. It was rehearsal. Carefully timed, carefully edited, carefully sold. And here's the part that mattered most. There was no counterstrike, no hard denial, no aggressive shutdown, no clean rebuttal, just silence. And in a media cycle that never sleeps, silence isn't dignity, it's panic management. That's when the illusion cracked. Not because of gossip, but because a single phrase gave shape to suspicions people were told they were crazy for noticing.
It's dull, it's predictable, it's cliche-ridden, it's simperingly sycophantic. It's one long rendition of all their greatest whinges and a load of self-congratulatory nonsense. So forgive me if I don't think this is all a load of BS.
And once the public names something, it doesn't unsee it, it doesn't unhear it, and it sure doesn't let it go. This is where the story stops pretending to be about one woman. Because according to Lady Colin's larger argument, the real accomplice wasn't just ambition, it was the media. A machine that helped build the image, defend it, and weaponize it. Strategic leaks, convenient paparazzi shots, carefully timed victim narratives. A system that thrives on perception, not truth. Meghan didn't just survive that system. She mastered it. Publicists, networks, royal reporters, all allegedly benefited from playing along. Access was rewarded, questions were punished, and anyone who pushed too hard got branded as cruel, obsessed, or unstable. The fairy tale didn't outsmart scrutiny by accident. It was designed to. And that's why Lady Colin opening this box matters. Because once an illusion is exposed, it doesn't quietly repair itself. It fractures. It multiplies. It invites more questions than answers. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think this was coincidence or a long game played perfectly? Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially if you've watched this story unfold for years and felt like something never quite added up. And if you don't want to miss what breaks next, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell because once the illusion cracks, it never seals the same way again. And if you want to see some more Meghan Markle madness, feel free to check out some of my other videos on the top of the screen. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay informed. Only on Tea Time with Tina.